All right, guys, we're here in Montclair, New Jersey, and we're gonna go do our last walk on the old Boonton line before they turn it into a trail. It is currently Martin Luther King Day, so I want to wish everybody a happy MLK Day. The reason why I'm making this video, you know, you've probably seen me walk down this railroad many times on my channel, but today will probably be the last walk on here before it becomes a bicycle trail. Right here, we're right next to the active Montclair Boonton line. This extension was built in 2002, and then this was left abandoned in 2002. Well, from what I'm understanding, for a couple of years they ran freight along here, but not for a while. And Norfolk Southern kind of just let it decay. So right where these ties are is where the tracks end. They tore up all the tracks over here, so once you go past. It is a cold one today, but I knew that no matter what, I have to get out here and walk the whole thing before it goes abandoned. Well, we're actually not going to walk this whole railroad. I can't walk all the way to the Hoboken. Well, Hoboken's where it ended, but this track itself ended in Jersey City, where it would join a bunch of other tracks to go into Hoboken. Well, anyways, this is the Montclair portion, and there's actually a lot less litter than before. There used to be litter all over here. I mean, there's still a little bit, but way less than there used to be. And what's funny about that is this bridge is pretty much the line between Montclair and Glen Ridge, New Jersey. And once you enter Glen Ridge, there's no garbage. Have 3 squirrels right there. Looks like they're playing tag or something. This is the Bay Street Bridge, which is the last bridge in Montclair. And it seems like every time I come back here, there's more graffiti. And I love graffiti, so I don't mind seeing it. This is not vandalism, this is art, people. Look at how beautiful it is. So previously, I found out about this last week, so about a week ago. I just decided to check out what was going on along here, and I come to find out they ripped up the tracks. I was almost in shock, because the last time I was here doing a live stream because it marked the 20th official year that this line was deactivated. And I don't know what they're going to do with all these ties. I mean, you would think they would sell them, but you can't sell them to railroads in this condition. The ties have to be in somewhat good condition. I mean, they're pretty decayed. And I knew that I need to come out here because it doesn't matter how cold it is. It's freezing today. It's about 30, I think it's like 34 degrees right now. I'm really cold. I need to come out here before they turn this into a trail, because I love this place. I've been down here so many times, and really it's just, I'm upset that they're now gonna turn this into a bike path. And I do love biking. I bike almost everywhere, but I'm a train person. I love trains, and I was always fascinated by this place, and it just looks empty now, you know? This is Baldwin Street in Glen Ridge. There's a couple trestles above here, so anyways, let's see what the graffiti scene is looking like under this bridge. The furthest I made it on this railroad, well, me and my dad, we walked, I think we walked in separate days. So it took us about 3 days, and we walked to Kearney and then back. So, yeah, we went to the Kearney cut, which Kearney is a very mountainous town, very hilly. So they actually, back when they were building this railroad in 1870, they blasted it with dynamite so they could create the railroad. graffiti scene is even better on this bridge is where there aren't too many videos on the internet of trains running on this line. As you can imagine, this railroad wasn't around when YouTube was around. So, but a man who I guess lived in the area had a camera, and he was like, okay, let me record the last few trains that were going along this bridge. The YouTube content creator, I think his name is Andrew Nelson. You can still look him up. And he also has a video, I think somewhere around here, there used to be, back in the day, I think they tore it up in the 90s. There used to be a walk bridge between one of these streets, because all these streets are no outlets because of the railroad tracks. And it was this really short clip of from 1984 of this really cute little girl going over this railroad track on the bridge. Yeah, as I was saying, the graffiti scene is not too good here. Mostly just crappy tags. So right now we're approaching the Benson Street train station in Glen. And the man who he was standing on this bridge, he zoomed in and you could see the last commuters getting off the train. I don't have really any nostalgia to this railroad because I was born in 2007. So they might have been running freight when I was a baby, but I'm not 100% sure about that. And then this train station actually caught fire in the 80s. And then I think it caught fire again in the early 2000s, or somewhere in the 2000s when the railroad went abandoned. So some people bought it and turned it into this hideous house. I mean, it's historic, but they ruined it with all the garden gnomes and everything. And all these like old antique junk, unfortunately. And here you can actually see the old railroad crossing that was here. And they're ripping up the railroad crossings, which is horrible, because if they're gonna do this project, you know, you would think that they would at least keep something resembling that this was a railroad, but no. They're tearing down the electrical boxes, the railroad signals, and that's horrible. I'm not really for this project, but I guess it'll make some people happy. Here you can see the train station actually went pretty far. It's pretty long actually. And here's one of the exits. You got a pretty good view of Bloomfield, New Jersey. Broad Street. But we're gonna keep going. This is really one of the only trestles that is still safe. A lot of the trestles have really decayed over the years, but this one is still very safe to walk across. As we get further into Bloomfield, there's a couple that are really, really dangerous. And I want to take a moment to shout out Wheeler Antebanez. He is a book writer and a urban explorer in this part of the state. He's a Montclair resident just like me. So, and is very interested in exploring abandoned railroads, exploring the urban legends along the Passaic River, exploring the abandoned factories and stuff, you know. And he also makes YouTube videos. And he was kind of doing the same thing I'm doing. So, pretty interesting to see that there's another person other than me, you know, taking a look at this place and being like, yeah, isn't this crazy? So go check out his videos. They're very good. This is the first dangerous trestle that we're gonna go across. This right here is New Street in Bloomfield. And this one isn't too bad. There's two others down there that are completely impassable because of how decayed they are. But as you can see, They're not doing too much to the bridges, but they did put down some wooden planks. Looks like very bad wood. I mean, what's the point? See how decayed this is? You have to walk on whatever this is. And even this is rotting. This is way worse now. I don't know if it's because of all the rain we've had. It's been raining a lot lately, so that might have been damaging the wood. I have no idea. This is the Belleville Avenue Bridge in Bloomfield, and like I said, this is completely impassable. I've been walking down here in 2 years, and I don't plan on doing it. Now we're going over Spruce Street, and this bridge is even worse. Just look at this one. Look at the drop here. Yeah, I don't feel safe about that. Here's the last of the dangerous bridges in Bloomfield. But this one's a little bit better because you have one of these, which back when the railroad was active, railroad employees would use to get across the bridge safely, but below it is decaying, rotting wood. And this plank that they put, because this was not here before the project, so yeah, that's definitely not safe. This bridge has a great graffiti scene here. Beautiful. I love that. And this, you know, graffitiing takes a lot of balls because, you know, let me just show you how dangerous this actually is. Look at that wood. Look at that wood right there. That fall, look at this. Not stable at all. So this is the Garden State Parkway, which goes all the way from the top of New Jersey to the bottom. About 175 miles. And this bridge is very stable, obviously. I'm walking across it no problem. And just right here, get a nice view of the Parkway. But this is not somewhere you want to stay for too long, because a state trooper might go by and see that I'm here and might think I'm trying to commit suicide. So if you're gonna, you know, go across this bridge, you really have to kind of stay around here. Again, look at this. And they're just removing all evidence that there was a railroad here. Once this is paving over, the people who have never been here before probably won't even know that there was a railroad here in the first place. I mean, they're just completely wiping out the history. And I think that's terrible. We're crossing, I believe this is Walnut Street in Bloomfield. So right around here in this area, way back, they used to have a train station here. It was called the Orchard Street train station. But of course, because of the Garden State Parkway, the train station had to relocate to Rose Street, which we'll show you later. Somebody put this nice little chair here, and as you can see, more and more rail, which, you know, this right here is going to make somebody a lot of profit. Right now we're under Williamson Avenue in Bloomfield, and you can see someone's graffiti was painted over. I don't know if the Greenway project, I don't know if they're in the process of doing that right now, but or it's a rival graffiti artist who painted over. Yeah, because once you paint over or like spray over someone else's graffiti, they get very upset. But the graffiti scene under this bridge is incredible. There used to be a lot of garbage down here. I mean, there still is, but somebody who lived in one of these houses over here was dumping garbage down here. Because you'd see garbage bags, almost anything. And you can still see some garbage, but this is one of the last railroad signals and electrical boxes they haven't gotten rid of yet, which is good. They did have one over here, which I believe they got rid of. And oh yeah, it's right there. They just knocked it down, I guess. And I was able to walk that one. It was a little, you know, wobbly, but I was able to do it. This one, I don't know what in the hell happened over here, but I'll attempt to show you because the sun's a little bit in the way, but I don't know what happened. I don't know if that was hurricane damage or what. Maybe it couldn't be winds. Here you have an electrical box. And I don't know if this one, I can open it. No, I can't. This used to be all the wires that were used for the railroad. Right there you can see some bamboo, a lot of it too. And you can see it's the only green plant. Everything else is dead right now. It's very quiet right now. There's not a lot of people out here. So it's very quiet. Other than the footsteps of the rocks or my boots. Everything else is just quiet right now. Very little cars. You know, it's the middle of the day, so most people are at work or they're taking the day off because it's MLK Day. You can still see that they have the mile markers, Jersey City. JC, Jersey City, 10 miles. I don't know if they'll get rid of those or not. But right here, you can see that they actually did not tear down this railroad crossing, which is good. So now we're at an old station. This was the Row Street station in Bloomfield. And I'm gonna try to make it all the way to Newark. And then go back. Well, I'm gonna probably have to take a bus back because I don't really want to walk any further. I don't want to walk back down, you know what I'm saying? It's just gonna take too long. Here you can see there's a lampshade here, but as you can see, they were taken out here. I guess it's that there were some scrappers that came through or something like that. So as you can imagine, you know, only 20 years ago there'd be commuters here. This station would be very busy with people in the morning waiting for their train to come and then getting off in the afternoon or evening, sorry. And right here, it just couldn't look more ugly. I mean, around when it becomes summertime, this railroad track is really overgrown. But now there is no more railroad track. There's no more railroad. You know, it's kind of hits you like a brick because I knew this project would happen, but I didn't realize how soon it would happen. Like, it just seemed like it was taking forever for anything to get done. You know, the Essex Hudson Greenway was fighting with Norfolk Southern to buy their property. They paid millions of dollars that Norfolk Southern wanted. Here you can see this is probably where the shelter was. Whenever it would rain or snow, people could go right there. And then right here, they have the PA system right here, which would announce when the train was coming. So what's interesting is to me is just how much effort it's going to take. But the outcome's not going to be, it's going to be great to see people biking and walking in the area, but there's already a lot of bike trails and parks in the area, you know? Fact of the matter is, there will never be a train here ever again. The identity of this railroad's completely gone. And that's the part that kind of hurts a little bit. Once we cross the street here, we will be in Belleville. This is the fourth town we're in. So it's just Belleville and then Newark. There's an old bike. I don't know, it has a lock. So maybe somebody owns it, but everything's totally rusted. Isn't that interesting? I'm not too sure what is right here. I believe it might be a catering company, but not 100% sure. So I guess now would be a good time to talk about the problems that this project's gonna have. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of benefits to this. As somebody who loves to bike, I think it's great to have a bike trail. I'd love to bike through the Meadowlands. But I think there's more bad than good. The reality is that most of the towns that this railroad cuts through, except for maybe Glen Ridge, are middle class and working class people. Like Belleville, Newark, Bloomfield, Kearney, parts of Montclair, working class. So home prices are going to go up for the people that live around here. And I think that's unfair. I mean, think about it. People who are buying homes in this area are going to love the fact that there's going to be a bike trail in their backyards. So that's going to raise home prices. And then landlords are going to want to raise people's rents for the people that do rent. And there's already so much gentrification, especially in Montclair and Bloomfield. So you kind of have to question yourself, is it really good? And something that Wheeler Antibanez pointed out, which I actually never thought about, but once this railroad became abandoned, a lot of animals, deer, squirrels, foxes, raccoons, maybe the occasional coyote came here. So now those animals are not gonna like the fact that there's people biking and running everywhere. They're not gonna like that. They're kind of just evicting these animals from their home. And Wheeler Antibanez, he's very smart for saying that. That's probably something I never would have really noticed. So shout out to him for that. I haven't seen too many animals today. Only animals I've seen are squirrels. But usually when I come here, or at least when it's warmer, I usually see more deer. And I think I ran into a fox once or twice. I've never seen a coyote though. I think coyotes are really only out at night, trying to hunt down their prey or something. But yeah, I mean, there's parks that they can go to, but this is really the only area around here where it's peace and quiet for them, where they don't have to worry about humans being everywhere. Right when I got done saying what I was saying, a group of deer, I think it was about four, were just running here. In this portion, I see more deer. Look, you have a squirrel right there, 2 squirrels actually. So there's already, animal life. There's so much animal life here that they're not gonna have. And another point, right here is a truck lot, right? And I actually spoke to a lady who I believe either A, she owns it, or B, it's her family. She was older. I think she's probably in her 50s or 60s, and she's been here her whole life. She remembers, the years and years of trains being here. And we had pretty much a long conversation. Maybe I'll run into her. She lives in that house right there. And she actually kept this railroad crossing up for nostalgic purposes, which now is gone. And, it's going to be another problem for a truck lot. It's going to be hard for the truck lot to stay open when this is a whole biking trail, So, you can see here, if this truck lot were to close, all those people will be out of jobs. I think it would just be cheaper if there was actually a railroad, if a freight company was able to restore this, because that way they just have to repair a couple bridges. Thank you. Right, there's a lot of animals here. Right. Yeah. 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 I mean, hey, it's nice to have a bike trail because I love to bike, but there's already so many parks and places to bike around here, so. Right. Yeah. I love that park. I go there all the time. Oh, really? Nice. Cool. So this is Belleville, right? Yeah. You're in Newark. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Uh-huh. Really? Yeah. So they just tore this right up from the ground. So I ran into that lady again. I didn't think she would remember my face because the last time I seen her was a year and a half ago. So it's nice to see that she remembered my face. See what I'm saying? You got deer right there. So she's telling me to be very careful because I'd say once you leave Branchbrook Park, the residential portion of North Newark is a pretty safe area, but once you go down Verona Avenue in North Newark, it becomes very residential, and there's not a lot of houses there, so people aren't really able to see what happens if you get robbed or anything. There might be, you know, people, homeless people, somebody looking, you know, to hurt you. There might be some prostitution, some drug dealers, you know, you never know. In industrial areas where there's not a lot of people, you know, there's no witnesses, anything can happen. So, but I really do have a pair of two big balls that are made of steel. So I'll still do it. For you guys, I'll do it. But yeah, she told me to be careful, of course. And she told me the same thing a year and a half ago. It's interesting, you know, for her to tell her story, because I remember that was a quick conversation. That was like 2 or 3 minutes, but last time we must have been there for like 10 or 15 minutes. And she was just explaining to me, you know, how much of an issue this project's going to be for her. How is she going to be able to run her business with a bike trail running through here, you know? So, all good points, right? So I honestly think that how much cheaper it would be to just restore this line, not for passenger railroad, because that's why they got rid of the line. They weren't getting enough passenger commuters running through here. So what would be better if they still ran freight through here, because this railroad connects Newark and Jersey City, two very industrial cities that supply almost all the industry to New York City. So if they ever needed freight to get into the city for something, or to transport something from New York to New Jersey, this would be a great opportunity right here for that. And the $65 million was not to repair anything. That was just to pay off Norfolk Southern. And then they got to spend millions of other dollars tearing the tracks up, replacing the bridges. The woman said 32 bridges they have to repair, you know? Plus, there's a drawbridge that's just swung open, and that's been in a sitting open position for years. That's going to cost a lot of money to repair. Plus, the people that you have to pay them too. You know, this is not cheap. It'd be so much more cheap. Yeah, it would still cost money to restore the line, but they get a lot more money out of it for sure, because freight companies make millions of dollars. All right, this is the last trestle before we wind up in Newark. And there's a Wawa over there, so I think I'm just gonna stop, take a little pit stop, go to Wawa. I already had a Mountain Dew before I got here. I went to like a little poppy store and got a can of Mountain Dew. It's a soda that has the most caffeine, so I was like, yeah, let's just get that. But all right, so I just got a nice toasted bagel with butter, and now I'm out here in 35-degree weather drinking a Slurpee like a freaking maniac. But yeah, I was just a little hungry, needed something to recharge, so stopped here at Wawa. This Wawa is actually pretty new. I think they built it in 2019 or 2020, so it's pretty new. And once I heard that a Wawa was opening in the area, because there's no Wawas around here, I was like, oh hell yeah, because I love Wawa. I love Quick Check too. Wawa has great made to order food. Usually all the employees in Wawa are super friendly, and my only complaint, it's a little expensive, but I think most convenience stores except for like 7-Eleven are really expensive. But if you go to like the bodegas or the poppy stores, they're pretty cheap. Red light, I hate red lights. There we go. Oh no, that bus driver thinks I'm getting on his bus. Oh no, he's just letting off someone. It was actually a she bus driver. So right here on my right is a beautiful, beautiful building. Has this nice Spanish architecture. It's called Nana's Catering. I always used to say Nana's, but I realized that there was Nina's in it. And it's a wedding venue and stuff like that, so it's beautiful. And it runs right through Branchbrook Park in Newark and right along the railroad. So that's super cool. Right here we have a beautiful river called the Second River that just cuts right through here. And something that y'all need to realize is this is history here. You know, whether you think it or not, I'm recording history. There's a cardinal right there. And you can see the stream goes under here. And then it goes right through the event venue. So that'd be a really nice place to have a wedding. If you ever plan on getting married, I don't. You know, I'm gonna look back in 30 years when I'm in my mid to late 40s. And I'm gonna be like, wow, you know? And the generation that comes after mine is, you know, will probably never know that this was ever here. Unless they were to stumble across this video. Other than Wheeler, Aunt Savannah's, and me, there's nobody else that's doing this. So, you know, we're recording history here. Unfortunately, I ran into a little roadblock here. This golf course wants to block people from coming through here. Number one, golf is a very boring sport, a stupid sport that's played by preppy, rich white people that have nothing else better to do with their lives. They already have plenty of space. I don't know why they need that. Completely pointless. I'm not a fan of golf, although we can kind of cut through here. Surprisingly, there's actually someone golfing today. I didn't know it would even be open around this time of year. It's freezing, but pretty easy to get across here because of that like hole in the fence. But right here you'll see a gorgeous bridge that cuts through Newark, and so, and right across Branchbrook Park. The architecture on this bridge is fantastic. So you'll see this beautiful bridge, and then you'll see Branchbrook Park. So obstacle number 2. This fence, I believe it or not, I cannot fit through that. And you have this golfer looking at me. So this kind of leaves me with no choice but to jump the fence, which I'm gonna do right in front of his face, but this cheap-ass fence is not going to stop me from exploring the beauty that is New Jersey. So what I wound up doing was I went in between the chain that kind of separates the two sides of the fence, and I basically squeezed myself through there like a chipmunk, because those stupid effing golfers are not going to stop me from recording history. And right here we're facing over Branchbrook Park, and this bridge, if you're ever driving through Branchbrook Park and you come across this bridge, it's absolutely beautiful. This bridge architecture, I gotta be very careful, I don't want to drop the phone, but as you can see, the architecture is very pretty, and this is a very scenic spot on the line because you get a nice view of the Second River, which cuts right through the top of Branch Brook Park. You know, Branch Brook Park's probably one of the most underrated parks. You know, it's a huge park, but you never really hear anyone like, let's go to Branch Brook Park. I don't hear anyone in Montclair ever talking about Branch Brook Park, or anyone really anywhere besides maybe Newark that speak about Branch Brook Park, which I think is crazy because it's a huge park. I think it's the biggest in the county, and it was also designed by the same person who designed Central Park. So it's gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful river you got flowing through. And even with all the dead trees, still manages to look absolutely beautiful. And then you throw in some nice graffiti, you know. This is my jam right here. Every time I come back, it's interesting to see new graffiti. Like, I didn't see that before, you know? And of course, you got your garbage. My guess is somebody might sleep here at night. But Newark has a lot of good graffiti artists, for sure. So right here in Newark, there's actually something really interesting. Oh, there's somebody tagging up there. Yo, there's somebody doing graffiti. There. I don't want to spook the guy, because obviously he's doing something illegal. But I have to go through here. I don't know what the structure was. So I wound up scaring the living crap out of that guy. But I just told him straight up, I love what you're doing. I love graffiti. You're all good. Yeah. And I was surprised. He was maybe in his 30s, late 20s. So I was kind of surprised to see someone doing that. But there's been a leak here. He said, I guess he's a Newark resident. He says there's been a leak in whatever building this is for 3 weeks now. And yeah, there is a big leak. And I told him that they're putting in a bike trail here. And I'm surprised he didn't know that. But yeah, I guess not everyone knows that. I don't know what the structure was for. Maybe if you're a North Newark resident, you could tell me, because I have absolutely no idea. But I scared the living shit out of that guy. He was like, oh my God. Yeah, I thought he would have heard me, but it turns out he had headphones in, so couldn't really hear me too well, obviously. But I don't really want to reveal his face. But you can see he's tagging up there. You know, I see so much graffiti here, but I've never actually seen someone tag. And this time I did. So I don't know what the trail's going to do, because obviously that pipe's been leaking for weeks. I don't think the city of Newark's going to come and repair it. I mean, Newark has so many other things they got to worry about. It's a big city. So they're not concerned about this little building, which like I said, I don't think it was a factory. It's too small to be a factory. It might have just been like a truck warehouse or something. Like they would store stuff in here, because I see places where trucks could possibly go, but obviously it's been abandoned, because there's a pipe in here. You could see leaking water if you look closely everywhere. I mean, holy crap. Look, it's actually pouring out of where the trucks would actually go. Wow. That is pretty incredible. So right here are some apartments. Which is funny, because it doesn't look like a hotel. Like, it doesn't really look like apartment buildings too much. But we've come to a really good place to relax. Right here in North Newark. They have some logs that I can sit on and just relax. You know, I think there's a cardinal in there. Yeah, I'm not a big bird person. Birds are very, very annoying. But I must say, cardinals and blue jays are really neat. So right here is actually a really quiet, kind of low-key spot here in Newark. You know, usually when I'm in Newark, all I hear is cars, sirens, people, a lot of life, you know? Usually because I'm either A, in downtown, or B, on a major thoroughfare, so. But but Newark is just as quiet as any other suburb when you're not on the major streets. It's actually pretty quiet. I mean, other than the occasional car that goes by. So this is an old abandoned railroad too. It actually splits off and winds up ending on the old Boonton line. I know where this goes. It goes to downtown Bloomfield. It's abandoned for like a small portion, and then it turns into where the Newark light rail is, and then eventually just becomes a bunch of woods because they tore the tracks up. I think I have absolutely zero knowledge about this railroad or what it was used for. Absolutely no clue. So if you know, please tell me. I'm kind of interested. And to my knowledge, I think there was either a train station here or further down in Newark. I think it was called the North Newark train station. And there's a really nice Escalade. It's got to cost at least $80,000. But anyways, you know, you have the occasional illegal dumping around here, unfortunately. You know, sometimes if you actually have the time, you can actually, if you have gloves, you can kind of go through the garbage, and if there's any mail, you can send it to the police because they'll know where you live, but it's probably just junk. Right here is the Tiffany Steel Company, which no longer exists. It was built in the 1800s or late 1800s, and it was abandoned, and then they restored it into apartments. I think that's dope. Number one, it's a beautiful structure. I'm really into brick architecture, so I like that. Newark's the brick city, and you know, it's just super cool to see that it was turned into apartments. And I think that's good, because if it didn't, it'd probably just rot and decay and just be another place in Newark that would have just been abandoned. There's a lot of abandoned factories here in Newark. Newark is part of the Rust Belt. Whether you believe it or not, Newark is definitely part of the Rust Belt. So around here, if you actually start going this way, I'm gonna zoom in here. You can actually see the World Trade Center, which is pretty cool. But unfortunately, the track ends here because of a truck lot. My guess is that this truck lot, either they bought, you know, this couple blocks of the railroad from Norfolk Southern, or they're renting it out to someone. So we'll just have to cut through the residential streets of Newark. Wonder what that place is. And look at this. Got an old bike with like a cute girl made out of straw. You have like this pillow. There's two bikes actually. Like bikes from little girls. Like a little girl, a little boy would ride. So as you can see here, the track was actually removed a couple years ago in this area. I don't know, maybe the truck lot, in case they wanted to expand it, they could. That's probably why they got rid of it here. But only building you can see in New York from here is the World Trade Center. I guess because you have Kearny in the way. Kearny, like I said, is very hilly. And this is just nasty. Somebody's been pissing in bottles. Look at how dark some of them are. How dehydrated was that person? That's horrible. You know, who wants to be the person that has to clean up urine, you know? So what we'll have to do is we'll just have to cut through a couple streets around here. We'll go down Mount Prospect, and then there's a little alley right by the truck lot, which is a pretty sketchy alley, but I think I can manage. It's actually a pretty nice area to live in. It's pretty quiet. You don't really have too many major thoroughfares going through here. And you have nice houses, not too big, not too small. And you got nice tree-lined streets. This is a pretty nice neighborhood. Plus Mount Prospect Avenue, from like the nice quiet residential parts of North Newark, you're immediately in the hood. And this is probably the worst part of our, like the most scary, most dangerous part of our trip. This is the sketchy alley I was telling you about. But the graffiti is beautiful, you know, absolutely beautiful. So the truck lot's behind that fence, and all here is just beautiful graffiti. So I like this. Looks like they're making asphalt over there. And yeah, just now I have to kind of keep my guard up because this is a rough side of Newark for sure. Remember that nice neighborhood I just showed you? Now we're in the hood. Here's a view of the truck lot. Like I said, I have no idea what the project's gonna do. They might either they're gonna try to buy these people out, which is gonna cost a lot of money, or they'll just have it relocated through the side streets around here. But yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. And as you can see, if you're not from around here, you gotta be careful going here. It's funny how you can just walk down one street, you could just cross one major street and you're in an area like this. Right in front of this used car dealership on Verona Ave in Newark. And look, they're dropping their prices. So, and these are like 2014, 2015 cars, so they're not that old. So if you're interested in looking for a new car for a really cheap price, I mean, this is cheaper than anything you can get at a car dealer. So, hey, come down here. Maybe you'll find something you like. So this is where the truck lot ends, and they're actually putting in a gas station right there. And there's also some stairs right here, so my guess is this is where an old train station was. So this is probably the most impassable portion of the railroad, because right here you have this house, and they have like this little dog. Every time I come up here, it's yapping. Every single time. And then sometimes in the summer, an older lady sits on her porch. But I'll just show you guys this portion. Hard to get up, but oh wow. Oh my goodness. This has changed a lot. This area used to be impassable. There was so much junk, illegal dumping, trees, branches, everything under the sun. And I thought they didn't get rid of that yet, but look, they tore up the track. It's actually amazing that they got rid of it. Wow. I'm shocked. I was like, wow. And then there's a truck lot here. So they actually have a gate which would block it because the trestle was so steep. And there's a truck lot down there that actually used to also be a railroad that was used very little for freight. And they discontinued it a couple years back. But I thought I was just gonna have to like climb up and everything, but no. I'm pretty sure I can walk across this now. I mean, I gotta be extremely careful because the drop is at least like 18 feet, so gotta be extremely careful. See what I'm saying? It's a major, I guess, like trading center or something. And you can actually see how deep the drop is. I don't know how I feel about crossing this, but I think I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I was contemplating doing it, but after I saw the drop and how like rotted everything is, absolutely not. Because the thing is like, I'm not bad at keeping my balance, but if any wrong move happens, I would probably die. Right here is an abandoned house right here. Obviously it has fire damage to it, and I don't know if this guy's still there. I don't know if maybe the city kicked him out or something, but there used to be a man and a dog. He was homeless, obviously, and he'd just camp outside of this old house. And right here there used to be kind of like a wall blocking the truck lot, but now anyone could just walk right through. So I want to see if there's any, you know, traces that there ever was a train station over here, because there is a flight of stairs. So I'm assuming that was to get to the old train station. This I do not know. But here you can see an old no trespassing sign. This had to be from before the railroad went abandoned, because just look at it. It says, I'm really trying to look well at it. Do not trespass, active railway. Walking or standing on this bridge exposes you to the deadly possibility of being struck by a moving train. And my guess is that was put there before the railroad went abandoned. So that sign might be over 20 years old. Think about it, it survived Hurricane Sandy, Hurricane Irene, Hurricane Isaias, and of course Hurricane Ida, the most recent one. Plus all the thunderstorms and blizzards we've had in New Jersey. Right here, you can get a decent view of Newark. Pretty cool. That guy just stared me dead into my eyes. There's a guy right there, stared dead at me. Hope he doesn't call the cops or anything. But we'll just try to see how far we can get in this little area. I'm trying to see if there was ever a train station here. Trying to see where those that staircase led to. Okay. Yeah, I'm not finding anything. I'm not finding anything. Of course, since it's a truck lot, they probably tore everything up. But I don't see any evidence that there was ever a train station here. Pretty interesting. Yeah, this is one of the sketchiest blocks in Newark. And I don't see the guy anymore. They might actually, I don't know if they're doing construction to it, but this was a big house. Definitely had like 3 or 4 families living in it. And there's a bunch of totaled cars in there. I don't know why they're there. And this, I have no idea what that ever was. But I don't see the man that used to be here. Nothing was boarded up on the bottom floor, now it is. Yeah, the city might have kicked him out. That's my guess. So over at that factory over there, or whatever that place was, where the lot was, it actually is not a truck lot. They just manufacture wood and stuff over there. And you have a stucco company on my left. I guess they make cement for houses, yeah. It's funny how when we were in Montclair, Glen, Bloomfield, everything was so residential, and then once you come to Newark, it's all industrial. And like I said, why is that guy running? You know, I thought that the bridges in Bloomfield were in bad shape. Look at that one. Well, this is the last portion. And because we're so high up, there's actually a beautiful view. But climbing up, not only did I stick out and look suspicious, because the people working here can totally see me. It's also hard because it's so steep. But I've never gotten this far. Well, I've been to Kearney, but I've never been in this portion. No, that is not a deer leg. That is actually a piece of wood. I thought it was a deer leg at first. Yeah, surprisingly, nothing crazy up here. And they did manage to get through this whole, you know, like tangled up, overgrown area and take the tracks out, which is kind of surprising. And right here is the Drawbridge, which connects the Passaic River between Newark and Kearney. But it's fenced off for safety purposes. It's very, very dangerous to walk across, especially considering you have a highway right there. Route 21 cuts right through there. You have the Passaic River. But some people manage to get through that. And but as you can see, the wood is extremely rotted, which is not safe. But I will give you guys a little view. So that's gonna be it for today's video. This is a long one. I was just trying to make a little movie and document this before any drastic changes happen. That's going to be it for today's video. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.